hello. I've not done that in years. I should hello. Post Christmas pickups. That's how it normally goes. Actually, I mean, after Christmas, there's a sort of a definite sort of upsurge in sort of buying generally because I've got more disposable cash, but I don't think it's an over exaggeration to say that there's more stuff around generally. I mean, I went into a charity shop a few weeks ago, and overheard a woman saying to somebody who'd just come in that she couldn't take her donation because they had too much stuff. If that's not an indication of what people do this time of year, then I don't know what is. And it's true to say that I've done better generally, or just around and about, than I would have normally. A couple of good eBay purchases, so I'll leave those to the end. And some not bad, actually, some not bad charity shop buys, but I'll leave those to the end as well. So if you want to see them, you'll have to hang around till then. Or skip. No, don't skip. Don't skip to the end. I won't tell you when I'll start doing them, so don't even try and skip. Don't even look. Endure. But I this time I'm going to make a concerted effort. I know it's every time, but this time I've got a good feeling in my bones it's going to be a little bit quicker than normal. I might have to fart around as per usual with the curtains because there's cloud and there's blue sky, and it could go either way. At the moment I've got the curtains open and it's cloudy, and I might have to jump up and divert the sun. I hope I don't have to, but it could go that way, but I think, fingers crossed. Right, first three are all DVDs. First one, I'm sure I had other things to say. You'll probably come to it, and I've got certain things I've got here like prompts. So this was one of them actually. Kill List. This was in a charity shop. I think it was 99p. I think Kill List. Really good film by Ben Wheatley. Sort of a slowly becoming established as one of the best UK filmmakers. Sort of really individual voice. Makes a very violent films. This is probably the most violent of these films. I was going to talk about this and sort of expand out into a wider debate about cinematic violence, but I don't think I'll bother because that'll go on for ages. I might do a whole video of it. That'll be interesting. Something people love that, won't they? But I was going to say this film is one of the. It made me. I don't think I looked away. Certain things happen that are quite difficult to watch, and only ever one film ever has ever made me close my eyes and just wince, just not want to watch what's going on screen. Actually, no, I didn't. That's something else. It's something else entirely. That was this documentary called No Fire Zones. It was just fucking horrific. And they were talking about it before David Cameron. I think it was David Cameron visited Sri Lanka. Because Sri Lanka is I forgot what Sri Lanka's role was, but I can't remember. In recent pre-Christmas, they were talking about the human rights record in Sri Lanka, and how certain countries, I think mainly Canada, refused to go to this sort of nations conference thing. I can't remember what the organisation was. I think it's the UN. It might have been the UN. But there's a documentary called No Fire Zone. It might be on YouTube. I couldn't watch it all because it was people being shot essentially, and which is obviously it's going to make it more effective as a documentary. And I would like to sit down and endure it one day. But this is the other film I was thinking of. The other film that I'm getting confused about was called called Antichrist. Now, I challenge anyone to go out and watch Antichrist without wincing, and watch it all the way through without wincing. Especially the blokes. That's not a hint over to about what happens. But this pushes it. You know, it's a close second to this. This will make you wince. I mean, it's things like Drive. Along those lines, you know, there's sort of violence in Drive. But anyway, something totally different to that. It's volume 3 of Yasujiro Otsu's box set. There's a 4-volume collection that these are no longer in print. I saw this. I really wanted number 1 because it's got Tokyo Story in it, and these Tokyo Story, widely renowned as one of the best films ever made, are often touted above the likes of Citizen Kane. I've not seen any of these. I don't think I have. I know I have actually. No, I have. I have seen one of these. It's about generally his films are about sort of Japan post-Pan and how their sort of society changes and evolves and modernises. And the one in here is about these 2 Japanese kids who insist on wanting to watch telly, and their mum doesn't want them to watch telly and stuff like that. It's all it's sort of essentially really controlled sort of Japanese kitchen sink stuff. It's kitchen sink realism, and it's subtitled, I'm afraid, Pete. Don't try and criticise it because you'll only show yourself as ignorant. This stuff is beyond criticism. Now this next one, don't judge me on this. At first sight, it might be, what the bloody hell you've got there? It's a bit girly. It's the title's probably the weakest thing about it. It's called In Search of a Midnight Kiss. It is a lot better than that sounds. It's basically, you know, I'm not big on rom-coms. You know, I'm a bloke, don't like rom-coms, but this is one of the few that I do really enjoy. It's an indie film, so that helps. And it's in black and white as well, so really low budget. It's set in LA, and it's about this guy. He's depressed. He's a writer. He's he's been in LA for a few months, sort of 6 months. It's got a similar tone to Swingers and things like Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, that sort of thing. And he's been in LA and he's depressed. He's just generally depressed and really down, not worked for a long time. And the film starts. It's set on New Year's Eve, so that's already depressing enough as it is. I always find New Year's Eve depressing. And he's depressed, and it starts off. He's so depressed and so down that he photoshops a picture of his best mate's girlfriend's face onto the body of a lady from a jazz mag, and sort of gets caught like cracking one off to this picture, but he gets caught by his best mate, whose girlfriend he photoshopped his face. So obviously he's hitting a depth there, and his mate encourages him, because it's only short notice, and this is the only other way. There's no other way to put up a sort of like a Lonely Hearts thing on a Craigslist. And it's that girl there who responds, and it's essentially a rom-com. It's more edge. It's got more edge than that. You know, it's darker and it's a bit more sort of downbeat and low key. And it is. I do really enjoy it, and I've been looking out for this for ages. It did get a UK release, but only in very small numbers. And been looking out for a long time. Sort of pops up on eBay, sort of for auction anyway, once every sort of few weeks. Not a lot at all. Generally, buy it nows are overpriced. You know, I wasn't prepared to pay more than a few quid for this. I saw it in a charity shop for £1, so I was chuffed with that. And those are my DVDs. Really weird selection. Sun might come out. You can see it poking out from behind a big black cloud. But right, on to the games. First three all came from a charity shop. They were £5 for £1, so I've got myself some replacement PS1 cases. No cracks, a few scratches, but no cracks. And also in the same offer, I needed a replacement case for Graffiti Kingdom. Here comes the sun. And who was it said that? Somebody mentioned that on my last video. I said, "Here comes the sun," and you sing it over in your head. Gold Knight, Rogue Agent. So this is just going to be trade. I think it's about 10p worth 10p credit in CEX. If anyone wants it, I'll probably have it. It's got a broken case. But the best one, I was just chuffed with this. It's only 24, actually 20p. Dora the Explorer. Journey to the Purple Planet. I blame Mr. Neckbreaker stroke Shaolin Skunk. He bought it. He bought it and did an LP of it, and it was really popular. And he mentioned how it's slightly difficult to get hold of, and was it slightly difficult to get hold of, and relatively expensive, but it's not. This is 90p's worth of credit in Computer Exchange, so I should get £1 with them too. And it could sell for a couple of £2 or £3 on eBay. I don't know. I'm not sure I can be bothered. But otherwise, I've got the indignity of having to trade it in and ruining my credibility. And so I might have to go to a far off branch of CEX to trade it in. Pretend it's not mine. But there you go. That's all the non-essential stuff. Everything else is all for me. First one, I got this today, is actually only 39p. It's Commandos 2 Men of Courage. Always wanted to play this. Never wanted to pay much for it, but it looks really good actually. It looks sort of, I don't know how you could describe the gameplay mechanics, like sort of point and click. On a PC it would be point and click. It's almost like, I suppose you compare a lot more elaborate version of something like Cannon Fodder. Don't imagine it's Cannon Fodder, but it's obviously a lot more detailed and elaborate, and you have to guide your commandos through certain scenarios, which sounds brilliant. In my head, I've got this idea that it's sort of, I've watched gameplay videos, so I do know how it works. But in my head, I've got this idea that it's a bit like the battles in XCOM, but I'm guessing it's more trial and error and that sort of thing. So that was only 39p. This one was from a few weeks ago from Cash Converters for £3. Ignore that £4. It's Bioshock. There are a lot less copies of this in CEX than Bioshock 2 for some reason. Don't know why. I used to have a tin edition. I used to have a tin case edition, but I traded it in because I really wanted something else, and I had to be really brutal about what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I thought because it was a tin edition, it might fetch more, but I ended up trading it in, and it didn't fetch any more than in the standard edition, which was really annoying. So I thought, well, tin edition, yeah, that will make a bit more, but it didn't. So otherwise, I would have kept it because I know they're easy to get hold of. But there's there are always less copies of this. I don't know what that means. Less copies of this in CEX than Bioshock 2. Is that a comment on how good Bioshock 2 is? I don't know. But it only cost me £3. So Cash Converters. And so now I can actually have a crack. I did have a go before I traded the last copy in a couple of years ago. So that was. Now on to actually no, isn't it? Yeah. What was I talking about? This was down to recommendation by Martin at Martin. What's his name? Martin Retro. What's his channel name? He's really popular. He's got thousands and thousands of subscribers, like 25,000 subscribers. Retro, not retro. Everyone knows him. Scottish guy. Just got a brilliant collection and always has really good recommendations. And he's got this setup. He's got this perfect sort of adapted setup for all his systems in this below his telly. It's just mind blowing. I'd love one like that, but I'm too lazy to do it myself. Recommended by him. This was Antino 777. Alien Infestation. It's supposed to be really good. And this yellow spot means it was half price. And I had to remind the woman it was half price. She tried to charge me that to begin with. Yeah, actually, about that, Martin, I'm going to have a bit of problems now. I was subscribed to him, but one day discovered that I wasn't. I was, but then discovered that I wasn't, and I hadn't unsubscribed. And it's just, I'm too embarrassed to resubscribe because it looks like I have unsubscribed, and I generally haven't. Although, you know, I'm obviously looks like I'm guilty because I'm protesting too much, but genuinely I haven't. And that's happened a few times. I think Willy Weeble, I thought I was sorry mate. I thought I was subscribed and I wasn't. But then on the flip side, I've found that I am subscribed to people that would never subscribe to. Well, not would never, but like that guy Nigel Tutt. I find him quite entertaining. But his brother does videos about welding, and I have no interest in welding. But somehow I found myself subscribed to him. But anyway, Alien Infestation by Way Forward. Way Forward. There you go. It's actually really good. One that I've been looking out for on the Wii. Relatively difficult to get hold of. Not too many in sort of CXs around the country. It's Chocobo. It's Final Fantasy Fables. Chocobo's Dungeon. It's a roguelike. It's supposed to be just rock solid. Generally, because roguelikes are, aren't they? This is it's supposed to be really good, actually. I mean, it's one I've been looking out for. And there's sort of like a job system, I think. You can change the characters' sort of stats. I think they're just by what job they are. But essentially, it does look really difficult. But it's essentially a roguelike. And it's supposed to be one of the better Wii Final Fantasy games, because I think the other one, Crystal Bearers, isn't supposed to be that good. It's supposed to be really sort of mundane and repetitive, sort of hack and slasher, I think. But this is supposed to be a lot better, but it's just rock solid. That was only £6. That's a relatively decent price, actually, £6. I think. Got this today. There's another one from today. I did all right today, actually. What's today? Yeah, I did alright today. I only got 3 today, but they're all okay. This one, been looking out for, but the price in CX has gone up. It was about £10 at one point. It's gone up to 18. I think it's post Christmas. I'm sure. I'm certain post Christmas they put their prices up because the shelves are generally bare. I mean, I went into the one in Watford. And in the game section, just all the games have been shoved to one end. All the ones that were left have been shoved to one end, so there are massive gaps on all of the shelves. Whereas generally they're face on, so it doesn't show so much. But generally, yeah, which I think that's how they encourage people to trade in, and they restock by putting their prices up, and essentially the trade-in worth of each game. I'm guessing. I'm not certain that's how it works, but hence the prices have gone up, and they should come back down. I think it's a bit like playing the stock exchange, and this is one of them. This was about £10-12, and it's now 18. It's Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition, and game added in there, and 5 for 20. Next to the standard editions, also 5 for 20, £5 on their own. Whereas the standard edition CEX is still £5. For some reason they're all lumped in together. So I nabbed this one because it's someone I've been really wanting to play, even before I had my 360, and never actually got around to sort of grabbing it probably because the price is a little bit too high for me. But it's something, yeah, like I said, something I'm really keen to play, and I think £5 is a decent price, especially at about. I mean, you might pay that on eBay, I think. Don't know. Or somewhere around that, maybe a bit higher than that, but I think £5 is a good price for that. I actually saw the Game of the Year edition of Red Dead Redemption in the same offer and just didn't buy it for £5. I was just, what a twat. Idiot. A few more, still quite a bit way to go. I'm long enough, 20 minutes, so I'll speed up. This one was actually in that branch of CEX, the one that was empty, and that's why I was quite surprised to see it. It's me and my Katamari on the PSP. That's that's about how much it goes for, £3.50. But all these bare shelves, and looked on the PSP shelf and what was left, and this was one of them. Maybe that's because not many people buy PSP games generally, but I'll buy any Katamari game. I love them. It's supposed to be, I think it's a PSP port of the original Katamari Damacy, I think, which I've never played because it didn't come over to the UK. And I think it's been sort of not truncated but squeezed, and there's certain limitations for this port. You know, just technically it's had to be sort of condensed, but it still maintains the same charm, which is the main pull for me. The charm. Same day as something else I bought. I can't remember what it was. in a sort of a slightly posh cash converters type shop. It's called Cash and Check. I think they have branches around the country, but they're always a bit like not snobby, but everything's in cabinets and a lot neater. You know. Just things and they've got weird opening times. This one doesn't open on Saturdays, but their prices were generally quite high. But I think they've come down a lot in recent weeks, a lot. So I went in there and realised, and got this for £4. It's a good price. Spirit Tracks, Zelda Spirit Tracks. £4, and I think they had a 5 buy 4 get the 5th free or something. And I looked, and there were other things. There were 360 games for £1. I think they had Home Front for £1, maybe Metro that for £1, other things, and just generally prices were a bit all over the place. But this was probably the best value that I saw. It's all there. It's a nice nick. On to the good stuff. Actually, that was not bad, but this is really good stuff. In awesome games in Walthamstow. If anybody knows Walthamstow, you should try it. It's okay. You have to hunt for the bargains because it's got the standard indie game shop pricing, sort of above, generally. But certain prices make you go, ooh. Make you wince, but they do have not an extensive retro section, but it's nice to see. There's retro stuff there, and the selection is good. It goes down to, I think they'll take pretty much anything. They've got they had a Pokemon N64 console. I didn't know what the price was, and then they have like loose carts, like Game Boy carts and GBA carts, and then loose NES carts and stuff. They might have had a NES, I don't know. So generally, they will have stuff, but they don't have a lot of it. Most of it is 360, but generally it's worth going in. So if anybody knows Walthamstow, it's not too far from the station, and it's always. I think I had at one point that I saw Diablo in there for £5, which is quite good on the PS1. Decent PS1 selection actually. Although they do charge about £20 for the Final Fantasies, and they're not worth that anymore. One time they were, but not anymore. And they've got Hogs of War for £5. I think that's a decent price. I do have Hogs of War, but I've got the classics version. And I was never willing to include it as part of my collection. It was sort of like the black sheep of the family, the problem child. It had the black spine, but it had the horrible sort of classics front. And so now I've got that to sell on or to move on. If anybody, I'll probably whack it on eBay or stick it in a bundle or something. I don't know. But it's not bad nick actually. And a £5 is a good price. I think There was a time though you could, if you bided your time, get this on eBay for about £5-6, but you'd have to be really persistent and really patient. Generally, they're around about 10-15, I think, or maybe a bit more. Don't know. But it's got Hogs of War, and I didn't like the horrible classics version. Right now, this is the really good stuff. The next two are all charity shop purchases, and this one was from today. This one sort of was like a double take sort of thing. I misread the spine. I saw from a distance some PS1 games. There you go, a little hint. Some PS1 games on a shelf, and so I could read them, and I was thinking, oh, it's just disappointing, because I was disappointed by the selection. But no, I'd misread the spine of this one, and I won't tell you what I misread it as, because that will essentially give it away. It's King of Fighters 95, and this wasn't even on my list because I never thought I'd be able to own it. It's not an expensive game. I don't think, if it ever did come up on eBay, it'd probably be round about the sort of 7, 8, 9, 10 quid, 15 quid, around about that. Not expensive at all. It's just they never come up. And having said that, there's probably loads on eBay now. But essentially, I've looked. I remember making the concerted decision not to include it because I never thought it would sort of be there to buy. But there it was in a charity shop with a really weird price on it, and it got me really confused. It said 2 times 99p, and I had to go and ask the woman behind the counter, and she charged me 99p. But it was in an elastic band. It had driver with it as well. And I think, do I have to buy both for 99p? They're going to force me to buy driver as well. But I took the elastic band off, and she had to explain to me that no, she charged me 99p for it. It's a really nice nick. This is the best find I've had, PS1 find I've had in a while. So that one will go on my shelf of reverence. After basically about 180. What's 180? 120 PS1 games worth of all the best stuff I've got, and this will go on there. As will Hogs of War. Alright, 27 minutes. Next one, bit of a story around this one. Shall I get him out? Get out? Yes, I get out. Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast, spot on condition. And a half. I did know that it came in 2 parts, but there's no sleeve in it. There's no sleeve, and they priced them up separately because they've obviously got 2 prices. There's 2 quid, 2 quid. Price them up separately because there's no sleeve, and they looked separate. And in a charity shop, you can't expect people who work in charity shops to know the minor details of sort of retro video games, because that's unfair to expect that of them. And but I did know that it came in 2 parts. But when I saw them on the shelf like that, I started second guessing myself. I had doubts crept in. I thought, does it come in 2 parts? I was thinking, was it number 1 that comes in 2 parts? Do they both come in 2 parts? Does the one come in 1 part, one come in the other part? The thing is, this is German and Spanish on the back, and the German and Spanish manual, and I was thinking, and there's no indication that there's part 1 and part 2 other than the discs, but obviously the discs weren't in there because they were in their little folder, because that's how this place works. They keep the discs separate, and I was trying to think, does it come in 2 parts about 2 quid? Do I buy both? Do I buy 1 or 2? Do I buy both parts, or do I buy one part and risk having half a game? So I thought, no, I'm going to buy 1 part. I'm not going to buy 2. Obviously, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to buy 2. I'm going to go buy 1. I took the one with the British language on the front, the British flag, the UK flag, up to the counter, and he went to get his little folder, opened it up. He looked up the code number 6, and he read it. He found the discs, and he went, "In disc number 3 and 4." Disc number 3 and 4. So obviously that confirmed they did come in 2 parts. You know, oh really? So I had to go and get the other part, and he obviously charged me separately. But I have the old guy to thank, because if code number 6 had been discs 1 and 2, I would have just taken that as that's my game. You know, essentially confirming what I suspected, that it was only 1 part, not 2 parts, but well, you know, 2 discs rather than 4. But luckily, slot number 6 in his little folder was discs 3 and 4. Otherwise, I would have been none the wiser. So it's just there's no indication apart from on the discs that part 1 and part 2. And this is in spot on condition, by the way. Just amazing nick. And I mean, I do have Shenmue 2 on the Xbox, but I've not got many Dreamcast games. So this is nice to have. I would like the sleeve, but it's not essential. It's not essential. And it's a really nice nick. I mean, when it obviously did become apparent that it was all part of one game, and they'd got them. They sort of priced them up separately. And it did sort of occur to me that I could try and explain to him that he should only charge me £2. But then I feel a bit of a cunt. So I don't like using that word, but I just feel like a bit of a twat, like haggling in charity shops. You know, there's no dignity in that, is there? Haggling in charity shops. Where's the pride? You've got to have a distinct lack of pride to haggle in charity shops. I know there are people out there who do that, so. But just there's no dignity in it, is there? And I was like, could I explain to him, try and get him for £2? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I've got more pride than that. Yeah, you know, you might call me a mug or a fool, but at least I've got my pride. I might be £2 down, but at least I've got my pride. There you go. That's everything out about 32 minutes. An eBay purchase, my first post-Christmas eBay purchase. These are all essentially Christmas presents for myself, you know, because I get money for Christmas. This was one I've been looking at, and Nate latterly VGA Adventure bought this, and I mentioned to him that I've been looking out for it, and this popped up on eBay for a really good buy now price, and I think I saw it within the first hour that it had been listed, luckily. I doubt it would have been there long. It's Boyne's Blob for $7.49 plus $2.99 postage. This is another way forward game, actually. Another way forward game. Obviously, sort of an update of the NES Classic. It's supposed to be really good. I can remember reading reviews of this, sort of when it was first released. What year was it released? 2008. Yeah, I remember reading reviews of it, and they weren't favourable. But I think it was this website, not website. It was the teletext page, Game Central, and that they were sort of had a harsh but fair attitude towards reviews. Really strict but honest and respectable. Really respected reviewers. Probably the best reviewers I've ever read. And I don't think they looked on this too favourably. But everything else says that it's sort of 7 or 8 out of 10. And it's got a lot of charm, which is, you know, it can sort of mask a multitude of sins, can't it? And you can use the classic controller. And this I think $7.49 is quite a decent price for this. It can go to sort of 15-20 quid on a good day. I think generally you're around about 12-15. I think maybe a bit more. But when I saw it for $7.49, I snapped it up, and I've just realised I've got a box. I've been saving this since yesterday. I really wanted to make a video for this, so I've been saving it. It's my main Christmas present. And I realise I've not got any scissors, so wait there, I'll have to go get some scissors. Yeah, because it dawned on me. Sorry, it dawned on me that nobody does these anymore. Nobody does unpackagings. When I first started on YouTube, everyone was doing them. You know, you'd buy something from eBay and you'd open it up and then you'd see somebody's disappointment or sort of elation. You know, they'd either be sort of heartbroken, or you could see them sort of sitting there smug because they've got something good, and you know, smug, sitting there like they're enjoying the smell of their own farts, sort of thing. But so I've got, you know, might be able to guess it's not just one thing in here. I am the two eBay auctions. I missed out on one auction. It was an auction for Mega Man 8 on the PS1. I put in a decent bid, really good bid. It was a bid that was sort of higher than the majority of auctions, or all auctions that had gone previously. I thought, I'm going to win this, and when I checked, I just left it. That's the thing, actually. When I bid on auctions, I put in one good bid, generally, one good bid, and let it ride, you know. I'm not one of these wheezy little bastards who tries to duck in at the last minute. I know you're out there. Again, there's no dignity in that, is there? I mean, it makes no sense either. I mean, put in one good bid, because it's literally whoever bids the highest is going to win, and it doesn't really, essentially, it doesn't really matter when you bid. Because if you've got the highest bid, you know, no one's going to bid above you anyway, are they? So it doesn't really essentially matter when you bid, and it's just a bit desperate and a bit lame, ducking in at the end like that. But you know, I'm sure we'll be able to get into this. So I just let it ride. You know, I sit like a, you know, fucking hell. I just let it ride. One big bid and let it ride. You know, if I win, I win. You know, and I bid on I bid on Mega Man 8. Excuse me. Oh, one ring. Oh, that's nice. Bid on Mega Man 8, thinking I was going to win. Ended up, I'll tell you what I bid 47 quid, which pre-Christmas would have secured it. I mean, not ignore all the crazy biting hours, but it would have secured it. I checked after the end of the auction, and the final value was 68 quid. I was like, fuck off. And I'd already put bids on these two, and I thought, that's really got on my tits. So out of anger, I put in an extra couple of bids to try and make the likelihood that I'd win these. I don't like saying win, because I'm paying money for them. You don't win things you pay money for, do you, generally? Spending money into competition. I don't like that. But I put an extra couple of bids on. One of them was irrelevant because I ended up winning for the lower bid anyway. But it turns out the second one was quite good that I put the second bid in, because I needed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got the game. But I think they're separate. It's not even just one bit of bubble wrap, and they're all bundled in together. One big chunky bit of bubble wrap. Which order should I do them in? This order first. Look alright. Looks alright. Please no cracks. Number 1. Crack on the back, that's alright. I've got replacements. Yeah. Klonoa. Doesn't come with the point blank demo, but that's okay because I do have a spare point blank demo, and that's probably why it didn't go quite so high. I mean, disregarding all of the crazy buy now loonies who will sort of pay any amount for certain things, I think I've sort of paid roughly round about the middle. You know, not the cheapest, but not the most expensive. This was 30 something, about 30.29 or something. That's another thing I resent. I always put this video's getting longer. I always put sort of just square amounts. You know, I always put square amounts. My thinking is that if you put in a few pence, say you put in £10 and 4p, if somebody bids you £10, that's immediately that's going to show the fact that your highest bid is £10 and 4p, because that 4p is going to suddenly appear, you know. So then that person can see that they literally only have to bid one bid higher, and they'll go above you. So I think if you put in round numbers, it should hide its lining, because it doesn't, you know. Because trying to guess what people are going to bid and try and match them or beat them by a couple of pence is ridiculous, isn't it? Because, you know, it's never going to work, is it? But so I put in a nice round bid for both of these, and the people who underbid me put in all these wacky numbers, pence. And I didn't like the fact that, you know, I'm a bit OCD in that sense. I end up having to pay all these sort of wacky, like, pounds and pence. So I always pay a nice round number. I forgot, it's 30.29 plus postage on top. So let's see what it looks like inside. Yes, and no point blank demo, but there's a space for it to go. Manual's nice. Disc. Yeah, disc's alright. Disc's about, in this light it is, at least in this light, so about 7 or 8 out of 10, so that'll do me. So it just needs, there's a slight crack on the back, that'll have to be replaced. Other than that, I'm pleased with that. Yeah, that's Klonoa. And the next one, the one that cost me slightly more, bit of a crack on the case, I just noticed, but that's okay because I've got replacements. Strider 2. I think this is the one that needed the extra, the second bid, the extra bid. Got Strider 1 and Strider 2. They look okay. Manual, yeah, it looks alright. I think I've done okay now. Disc, yeah, that's in this light it's about 7 or 8 out of 10. Strider 1. Yeah, just dirt. Bit of a mark there, but I think it should be alright. Yeah, I think I've done okay there. Strider 2 is a weird game. I heard it's really short, but it doesn't look really good. But it's just it uses sort of 2D sprites on a polygonal backgrounds, 3D backgrounds. I don't think they really sort of mould them together particularly well, but you know, if you ignore that, the game looks good. But apparently it's really short, and I paid 30 something, 36, 37, something like that. You know, not major money. When you hear of people spending, you know, sort of hundreds on, you know, like Mega Drive sort of Japanese shooters and stuff, or Saturn shooters, or you know. 36 quid's not mega money, and they go for what they go for, though, don't they? And hoping to find this in a charity shop would be ridiculous. So it's essentially online or nothing. So there you go. My Christmas present to myself. I'll let you go. It's not quite as long as the last video. It was long enough, or is it? That was quite long. Was that 46 or 43? Either way, bollocks. I will let you go. And now it's like raining. The threat of sun never came to fruition, which is okay. But now it's raining. Bollocks. I'll let you go. Thanks for watching, and there'll be more videos coming up soon. Hopefully not. It was about 3 weeks, wasn't it? Last one. But either way, thanks for watching. Yeah. See you later. Thanks. I'm not sure I've had too many subs actually. 1 or 2 maybe, don't know, can't remember, but if I have, cheers. Otherwise I'll see you all sometime soon.